If anybody's curious as to why I have my logo where my picture normally is, go check out the VOD on Twitch from either day this past weekend when we did a charity stream, and you'll understand why that image probably would have been distracting from the information we're about to give out. So, if we look at this event right here, the 5-star is going to be Hu Tao. The 3-4 stars, which, if you remember our predictions, means that we got an 83% accuracy on our predictions, because we said definitely was going to be Seiyu, and the other one we called was Fischl, but we said the alternate for Fischl would be Diona. So there we go. So we got it with one step away, so that's an 83% accuracy according to our scale. Unless you already have a completely built and stacked up Pyro DPS, Hu Tao would be an improvement for your account. If you already have a built and stacked up DPS that is Pyro, that means you probably already have an artifact set that you can drop right on top of Hu Tao, and she would still be an asset to your account. Some people will tell you that getting her C1 is what makes her fully battle effective. To be fair, the stamina cancellation of the C1 makes her about 5 to 8% more effective. That's it. It makes her a little bit easier, but as long as you already have your max stamina because you have your statues all maxed out, it really doesn't matter. Diona is a great all-around character. She is an archer, she is a healer, she applies AoE cryo, and she shields. So that's a character that does a lot of different things and can help your account out in a lot of different ways, and puts a lot of utility roles all together into one slot to free up the other 3 slots on your account to do what you want to do. Seiyu is fun. She is definitely a benefit to your exploration team. She is a great character to have if you are bored with the fact that all of the other characters pretty much fight the same way. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to say she's a must-have. And her constellations, once you get past C2, until you get all the way to C6, are relatively unimportant. So if you have already a Seiyu, you probably don't need to pull for her. If you have a Seiyu at C4 or C5, I would say to try to get the C6. The jury's out on Homa. It's a brand new character. No one's seen him except for what's been leaked from the beta tests. And it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people say that he's very strong. Some people say that he's a little weak. Your mileage is going to vary, and I'm not going to tell you one way or the other until I have a chance to test him myself. What I will tell you is he is a variety character, meaning that he does a couple of different things, much like Diona. And those characters are often the hardest to determine the value of in a vacuum, which is why people would tend to believe that he's underpowered. My personal opinion, he is probably going to be valuable. There are a very limited number of characters that can give you shields that are not Geo. 2 of those are in this banner. So if you don't currently have a good shielder, this is a great way to try to support that and build your account. Now, as far as the weapon banner goes, because of changes to the weapon banner and how it operates, this is definitely a top 3 weapon banner of all time. This is arguably the best spear in the game, and it's really only barely arguably. This is pretty much going to be the best in slot for every polearm user, with the possible exception of one that has a polearm specifically for them. So Zhao, you can make an argument that the Jade Spear is better. Raiden Shogun, obviously her weapon is a little bit better, but you're looking at a a polearm that'll give you a 608 base attack. Secondary stat is crit damage, and it goes to 66%. So that's a ton of crit damage. That allows you to build with a crit rate headpiece and never look back. And it's going to give you a lot of damage and a lot of good stacking of damage very, very easily. If you consider the fact that most of the time your main DPS characters are going to be around 20,000 health, 1% of 20,000 is 200. 200 to your attack on a character that's going to have about a 12 to 1500 attack anyway. That's going to give you a nice percentage added on, and then it's going to do it again if the character is below 50% health. So it's got a nice substat. It's got a nice perk. This is a really, really good weapon. There's a reason why this thing is disgusting. Second slot, Elegy for the End. Again, a 608 base attack. So very, very high base attack. Secondary stat, Energy Recharge, going as high as 55%. Perk, increases elemental mastery by 60. When the elemental skills or burst of the character wielding the weapon hits opponents, that character gains a sigil. The effects can be triggered once every 0.2 seconds and can be triggered even if said character is not on the field. So like Fischl and Oz. When you possess 4 sigils, all of them will now be consumed, and the nearby party members will gain Farewell Song effect for 12 seconds. Farewell Song increases elemental mastery by 100 and increases attack by 20%. That's your entire party. On top of that, if you have, like, Kujosara, having that high base attack means you'll be transmitting a higher value to your other characters when she does her buff. So much like Benny gets a benefit from using a 5-star weapon with a high attack to lend attack rate to party members, same thing with Kojusara. This is going to give you a very high attack rate that you can lend to party members. And because the secondary stat is Energy Recharge, one of the best builds for Sarah is the Ember of Severed Fate build, which is going to utilize a lot of Energy Recharge to make her ultimate stronger. This gives you an extra artifact piece baked into the bow. So it makes her better at making her better at making her better. So I'd gotta say, this is probably a no-brainer for anyone who runs a lot of Kojusara in their list. So now we go into the 4 stars. Now's where things start to get weird, because this is a brand new 4-star, the Wavebreaker's Fin. This is its first time showing up. This is a 4-star polearm with a base attack that goes to 620, so that's stupidly good. Secondary stat, just attack percentage. For every part of the entire party's combined maximum energy capacity, the elemental burst damage of a character equipping this weapon is increased by 0.12%. Now, this is the same ability that made the surprise Claymore last month stupidly sought after. And by stupidly sought after, I mean I broke my own rule and tried to pull on a weapon banner that only had one weapon that I wanted on it, and it was a 4-star, and I threw 60 wishes at it, and I didn't get this thing. This is going to have a base attack comparable or better to just about every 4-star polearm out there. This is a good utility polearm that can be used by any polearm character in the game. Moon's Moon. This is, again, same new weapon set. 565 damage, very good for a 4-star bow. Secondary stat, boosted attack percentage. And it has that same Wave Walker ability where the bigger your party's burst is, or burst cost is, the better it boosts the wielder's burst. Sacrificial Sword. If you have Water Boy, this is arguably his best weapon just because of the energy recharge and the ability to counter cooldown. I mean, the sack set I'm a big fan of, because anyone that has an E that you want to use, odds are you want to use it more frequently. So these weapons are good. The Sacrificial series is good for anyone that is a E-based character. The base attack is decent. Energy recharge is nice. It doesn't go terribly high, but it is going to give you enough that you can kind of maybe not worry about it in secondary stats so much. Rain Slasher is a weapon that is sort of good. Claymore damage 42 to 510, so fairly low damage for a Claymore. Secondary stat is Elemental Mastery, which can get to 165. You can kind of put this on your Razor and use your E first, and now they're more vulnerable, so now all of a sudden every other attack will do more damage. if you run any Claymore character supported by Water Boy, as soon as the Rain Cutters hit, you're getting a 20% damage boost. So it's not the best, but in certain team comps, it can be a very strong weapon. I'm going to say the reason why it's currently in this list is because of the appearance of Seiyu. Because this is the weapon that I run on my Seiyu regularly, and the reason is 165 extra elemental mastery. If you are running a heavy swirl Seiyu, there really are only two 4-star options. The one is the Sacrificial Greatsword, so you can swirl twice as often, and the other is the Rain Slasher, so your swirls can do twice as much damage. That's pretty much it. And then last is the Widsith. 42 to 510 base attack. Secondary stat is crit damage up to 55%. Perks. When a character takes the field, they will gain a random theme song for 10 seconds. This can occur only once every 30 seconds. Either attack is increased by 60%, or increases elemental damage by 48%, or increases elemental mastery by 240, which is a ridiculous amount. This is a really good 4-star catalyst, really only held back by the fact that you kind of want to be able to focus one of those songs specifically, so you might want to pair away from this weapon to go to something that is more fit to purpose, specifically for whoever you're going after. That being said, this is a great weapon to put on, say, a Sucrose, a Lisa, arguably one of your best in slot options 2/3 of the time for Yanfei. You could say the same thing for Mona. Ningguang, maybe third best. Sangonomiya, you're probably not using, and if you are, you probably already have a weapon for her because you went crazy for her, so you've got her stacked and you don't ever have to worry about changing her stuff ever. If you add all of that together, what you get is a weapon banner with no real downsides. You have two really solid 5-stars. You have 3.5 to 4 really solid 4-stars. There's no downsides on this banner. There's no, I'm getting stuck with one of these kind of weapons. And with the way people went absolutely nuts for the first weapon in the Watatsumi series, the Claymore, I've got to believe that Wavebreaker's Finn and Moon's Moon are both going to wind up being equally surprisingly good. I honestly feel like the character banner is kind of an 8 out of 10 pull. Maybe you don't want or care about Diona. There's a likely chance that you don't care about Seiyu. There is a chance that you probably don't care about Toma at the moment, but may have some, active FOMO after he's no longer available. Hu Tao, there's almost no downsides to. I'm going to say this is a 9 out of 10 for pull value on this banner. And honestly, the one thing that makes it not a 10 out of 10 is not having the best Claymore. And I think even people that say never pull on weapon banners, they're garbage, they're a trap, are probably going to pull on this weapon banner because this weapon banner is so much not a trap. And I just realized I've been talking about these two banners for 40 minutes, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to cut that down to 10. So, thank you everybody that stopped in. This was recorded on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/secondclasselitist. If you want any more information or want to see how long I can ramble, go ahead and head on over there and check us out there. In the meantime, thank you very much for being here. Hope you had fun. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel, for liking this video, and I will see you again very soon.